Hello everyone. So today let us talk about verbs. So before I start my session, let me ask you what is a verb? Oh, that's nice. So let's see. I have given you a sentence. They stole the money. So if you look at this, they stole the money. If you just clearly mention and see what is written in colored one, if you see the stole, so stole is usually referring to action that they have done. So remember clearly. So looking at this sentence, we can understand verb usually refers an action. Okay. Let me explain you very, very clearly. Suppose if I say she dances well. Okay. They write notes daily. So if you look at these examples, we can understand clearly that here we know when a sentence is written. So when a sentence is written, so we have three important parts in the sentence. So what are they? So very good. Subject, verb, and object. So these are the important elements of a sentence. So usually we know very clearly subject is called doer of action. Yes, what is subject called? Yeah, doer of action because he does the action. And object is called receiver of action because it receives the action of action. So verb is usually called an action or work that subject carries. Okay. Suppose if you look at this, she dances well. What is the action she does? Is dancing. So dancing is a verb. So if you look at the second example, they write notes daily. What is the action done? So action done by us is write. So on the whole, if you just move forward, if you look at this, you can say the boy is jumping. So here what we are learning is we are going to learn about action words which usually are called verbs. So we can conclude that verbs are the words that refers action. If you see this, Alex is dances. Alex dances well. So dancing is the action that he is carrying over here. So a verb is usually an action word, says what something or someone is doing. So Alex dances well. Here, what does Alex do? He dances. So dance is a verb. So moving further, if you look at this, the fish swim in the sea. So what does the fish do? Yes, very good. Swim, so that it is a verb. So like this, we can understand that usually a verb is the word usually refers action. So, but before moving on to this, I would also would let you know few sentences. Let us discuss something on this. So I just want to write, we are writing notes. Okay. And I can also say, we are in the class. And we also say, we have a class now. So if you just look at these three statements, can you identify, all of you, what are the verb forms we have in this? Okay, very good. Writing, are, yes, very nice, have. So far we have learned that verb usually refers an action. But if you look at these sentences, let us see. We are writing notes. So you said action is writing. Exactly, it is referring to an action. See the second sentence. We are in the classroom. So you said verb is here are. Do, do we refer any action using the word are? Yes, please. No. So what does it show? If you look at the word are talks about our being or our state, state or being. Remember. So what do you see as the third sentence is we have a class now. Here have is a verb but does not refer to action. Then what does have refer to usually? What is the meaning of have? Very nice. So have is usually talking about, our possession. That means we possess something else, or simply we say having something else. So moving back to our definition of verb, we said verb refers action. But if you see these three sentences, remember a verb is not only referring to action. We can say it refers to being or state, and it is also referring to possession or having something else. So now it's time we need to redefine the verb. You need to understand verb refers action. Remember, then it also refers state and it also refers being. So any of these three things is mentioned, we can call it a verb. So like you see here, we have many verbs jumping over here. They are all action words. Remember, sleep, think, and all. So moving further, if you look at classification of verbs, remember verbs can be classified broadly into two categories. So those are main verbs, okay, then auxiliary verbs. Remember, the first one is main verbs and auxiliary verbs. These auxiliaries can also be called helping verbs, okay. So there are 24 helping verbs in English, which are again divided into two types. So those are primary auxiliaries, okay. Then we call modal auxiliaries. Look at the classification that we are doing. So we call them primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries. So out of 24 auxiliary verbs, we have 11 primary auxiliaries, 13 modal auxiliaries. So if you look at those 13 modal auxiliaries, see, we know often use them every day. So shall and should, like will and would, if you say can and could, and if you also say may, might, okay. Apart from this, must, dare, need to, okay, used to, and ought to. So these are the 13 words which we usually call modal auxiliaries, which have their own significant uses to be used in English grammar. So remember, verbs are classified into two categories, main verbs and auxiliaries, or helping verbs, which are 24 in number, which are divided again into two, primary and modal auxiliaries. So modal auxiliaries are 13, whereas primary auxiliaries are concerned, we can divide them into three forms. So those are be forms, okay, do forms, and have forms. So primary auxiliaries refer to be, do, have. So if you refer be form, we use am, is, are in the present tense, and we use was and were in the past tense. Okay, right? We use do, does in the present tense, and did in the past tense when it comes to uh, do forms. Then coming to have forms, I hope you all know very good. Have, has, and had. These are the three have forms we have. On the whole, we have 11 primary auxiliaries. So one important point to note here, primary auxiliaries are basically helping verbs, but remember, they also act as main verbs. So here main verbs are usually referred in four forms. Those are V1, V2, V3, and V4. So V1, we usually call it present verb. V2, we usually call past verb. And V3 is very, very important, which is called past participle. And V4 is called present participle. So this is what we can do in main verbs. I'm not talking about classification of main verbs. We are saying that only every main verb has four forms, like said, V1, V2, V3, and V4. V1 is present verb, V2 is past verb, V3 is past participle, and V4 is called present participle. So way back, we will be talking more about main verbs in the classes to come. So thank you very much.